And in today's video, I'm going to teach you 5 phrases you can use to change the topic when you're having a conversation. Hey everybody, and welcome to today's video. My name is English teacher Matthew. I'm a native English teacher from the UK, and I'm here to help you improve your English. Let's start off by talking about the 2 easiest phrases we can use to change the topic when we're having a conversation in English. These ones are especially good if you're in a boring conversation or you're talking to a boring person, because these phrases help us to change the topic to a completely different topic. And the first phrase is anyway. And one example of anyway is, anyway, did you hear that Dave and Sarah got married? Anyway, did you hear that Dave and Sarah got married? So we use the anyway and then we introduce the news or the topic we want to change it to next. And the other phrase we can use to change the topic is by the way. By the way. So for example, by the way, did Rob pay you back? By the way, did Rob pay you back? So anyway and by the way are 2 great phrases we can use to change the topic completely. And like I said, they're especially good if we're bored in a boring conversation or we want to change the subject to something completely different. However, sometimes the conversation starts dying. It becomes less fluent and less smooth. Maybe the other person has not got a lot of things to say. Maybe you don't know what to say to the other person. And this is when you can introduce some phrases to continue a similar topic, but maybe not exactly the same topic. So, for example, if you're talking about football and you want to continue talking about football, but something else within football, then you can use these phrases. And they're really, really helpful. So the first phrase I want to teach you is speaking of, or you can also say speaking about. And for example, speaking of the weekend, I went out on Friday night. Speaking of the weekend, I went out on Friday night. The second phrase we can use is, you know, that reminds me. You know, that reminds me. So for example, you know, that reminds me, Dave and Sarah's wedding is soon. You know, that reminds me, Dave and Sarah's wedding is soon. And the other phrase is, oh, before I forget. Oh, before I forget. So for example, oh, before I forget, I'd like to invite you to my home sometime. Oh, before I forget, I'd like to invite you to my home sometime. So now I'm going to share with you 2 dialogues of me using these words and phrases. Just notice how I use these words and phrases to move on the conversation to something else or to something similar. I hope you enjoy it. I love the flowers you have here. They're so colourful and they really bring light to the room. Oh yes, you're right. And they're especially fragrant as well. Yes, you're right. Oh, by the way, did you see the football result last night? It was an absolutely wonderful reception, right? The dishes were delicious and the drink was flowing all night. Oh, I totally agree. Couldn't be better. Yes. You know, that reminds me, Dave and Sarah have their wedding party next week. And today's question of the day is, what do you enjoy talking about? Tell me in the comments below. And you can also tell me, what don't you like talking about? What things absolutely bore you when you're in a conversation? Make sure you tell me in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you learned something new. If you do have any questions about the content of today's lesson, what we talked about, then please ask me in the comments below and I'll get back to you. If you liked today's video, make sure you press the like button, and if you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, keep practicing.